A war is happening right now between the United States, Israel, and Iran. You've seen the headlines. Oil prices are jumping. A narrow waterway called the Strait of Hormuz is blocked. Ships are being rerouted. But if you turn on the news, they assume you already know why. I didn't know either when I started researching this. So I made this video for anyone who wants to understand from the beginning. No prior knowledge required. Let's try to do this in 15 minutes. Here's exactly what we're going to cover. 1. The one event in 1979 that changed everything between Iran, Israel, and the US. 2. How Iran learned to fight Israel without ever firing a direct shot, using groups like Hezbollah and Hamas. 3. Iran's nuclear program, and why Israel sees it as an existential threat. 4. The exact moment the shadow war became a real, open war. And 5. What's happening right now, including why the Strait of Hormuz matters to your wallet. Let's start in a time that might surprise you, when Iran and Israel were actually friends. Here's something most headlines won't tell you. From 1948 until 1979, Iran and Israel were not enemies. Iran was the second Muslim-majority country to recognize Israel as a state, right after Turkey. Under the Shah of Iran, the two countries had quiet but strong ties. Israel bought Iranian oil. Iran bought Israeli weapons. Their intelligence agencies worked together against common Arab enemies. They were never best friends, but they had a working relationship based on mutual interest. Let me give you an example of how close they were. In the 1970s, Israel helped Iran develop its secret nuclear program, the same program Iran is now using to threaten Israel. That's how much things have changed. So what went wrong? 1. Revolution. In 1979, the Islamic Revolution overthrew the Shah. Ayatollah Khomeini came to power. Khomeini had a completely different worldview. He called the United States the Great Satan. And he saw Israel as an illegitimate state that had no right to exist. Iran cut all diplomatic ties with Israel immediately. The Israeli embassy in Tehran was handed over to the Palestine Liberation Organization. Overnight, Iran went from quiet ally to open enemy. But here's the critical shift that most news doesn't explain. Khomeini believed in exporting the revolution, spreading Shia Islam and anti-Western resistance across the Middle East. And he found a very effective method, funding and arming other groups to fight Israel for him. Let me say that again in a different way. Iran realized it couldn't easily attack Israel directly. They don't share a border. So instead, they built a network of armed groups around Israel's borders, and they pay those groups to do the fighting. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a problem with a neighbor, but you don't want to get into a fight yourself. So you pay some other people to knock on their door every day. That's what Iran has been doing for 45 years. Let me walk you through exactly how this proxy system works. First. In Lebanon, you have Hezbollah. This is Iran's most powerful proxy, an entire army with over 100,000 rockets aimed at Israel. Second. In Gaza, you have Hamas and Islamic Jihad. These are the groups that attacked Israel on October 7, 2023, killing roughly 1,200 people and taking over 200 hostages. Third. In Syria, Iran has placed its own militias right near the Golan Heights, within striking distance of Israeli territory. And fourth. In Yemen, you have the Houthis, who have been attacking commercial ships in the Red Sea, disrupting global trade routes. Here's the genius of this system from Iran's perspective. If Hezbollah attacks Israel, Iran can say, "That wasn't us." If Israel strikes back, they're hitting Lebanon, not Iran. Iran's own soil stays safe. For 45 years, this was the arrangement. Iran gave weapons, training, and money. The proxies attacked Israel. Israel attacked the proxies back. And Iran stayed out of direct conflict. So what changed? Why did Iran and Israel start hitting each other directly for the first time in history? The answer is Iran's nuclear program. Israel has always said Iran's nuclear program is a red line. Here's why. Iran's leaders have openly called for Israel's destruction. An Iranian nuclear weapon, in Israel's view, isn't just a political problem. It's an existential threat, meaning it threatens Israel's very existence. Starting in the 2000s, Israel began sabotaging Iran's program. They assassinated Iranian nuclear scientists. They set off explosions at secret facilities. They even used a computer virus called Stuxnet to destroy centrifuges, a cyber weapon so sophisticated that it's still studied today. But none of that stopped Iran. They kept enriching uranium, getting closer and closer to weapons-grade material. The US tried diplomacy, the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, and then, maximum pressure under President Trump. Neither fully worked. Then came October 7, 2023. And everything changed. On October 7, 2023, Hamas, an Iran-backed group, attacked Israel. Israel responded by invading Gaza. That war is still going on. But here's what turned a regional conflict into a direct US-Iran war. Iran's other proxies joined in. Hezbollah started firing rockets into northern Israel. The Houthis started attacking commercial ships in the Red Sea. The US responded by striking Houthi positions. Then, in April 2024, Iran did something it had never done before. It launched over 300 drones and missiles directly at Israel from Iranian territory. Israel and the US shot almost all of them down. But the message was clear, the shadow war was over. Israel struck back, hitting Iranian air defense systems and nuclear facilities. That tit-for-tat kept escalating, until we arrived at where we are now. On February 28, 2026, the US and Israel launched coordinated strikes against Iranian military targets, missile sites, naval vessels, and nuclear facilities. The US has 2 aircraft carrier strike groups in the region, the largest naval force since the 2003 invasion of Iraq. Iran's response? They've blocked the Strait of Hormuz. This is a narrow passage between Iran and Oman. At its narrowest point, it's only 21 miles wide. And 20% of the world's oil passes through it every single day. Let me tell you why that matters to you. When Iran blocks that strait, oil tankers can't get through. Global oil supply drops. Prices jump. Right now, oil prices have gone up 40% in just 1 week. That means higher gas prices. Higher shipping costs. Eventually, higher prices on everything from food to electronics. This isn't just a war far away. It affects your wallet. Let me quickly recap what you just learned. 1. Before 1979, Iran and Israel were quiet allies. That surprised me when I first learned it. 2. The 1979 Islamic Revolution turned Iran into an enemy, one that fights through proxies like Hezbollah and Hamas. 3. For 45 years, it was a shadow war, until Iran's nuclear program made it too dangerous for Israel to ignore. 4. October 7, 2023, and the escalating tit-for-tat strikes led to open war in 2026. And 5. Iran's blockade of the Strait of Hormuz is making this a global problem, affecting oil prices and your wallet. In my next video, I'll do a full deep dive on the Strait of Hormuz. Why is it only 21 miles wide? How can Iran block it with small boats? And how long can the world survive without it? I'll put the link on screen and in the description. If you learned something today, please like, comment and subscribe. More videos like this coming. Thanks for watching.